Hi there, Lee Thurban again, talking to Mike Blake with Mike Blake Homes, the guy that builds the beautiful houses in East Texas. If you've been to MikeBlakeHomes.com, you're going to see a really sweet set of homes that you're going to want. Mike, we talked a little bit ago, and you were describing some of the interesting design features that are kind of going into modern homes, and you kind of piqued my interest about sort of a little bit of a trend towards more modern, more minimalistic designs. Talk to me a little bit about what it is you're seeing that people are wanting and that you're building for them.
Yeah, it's been really fascinating. I mean, all the rage for the last several years has been more of a country craftsman style, hill country, you would call it. But now they're integrating these really kind of modern or minimalistic kind of features in with that, which has been really interesting to me. And then on the kind of the other end of the spectrum, there's been very much a emphasis on minimalistics or modern design, period. And we've kind of are doing both of those right now. We're building houses that have implemented some of those elements, and then we're doing some houses right now that are fully minimalistic and modern in its design and its finish out.
So you mentioned now. Let's talk about kitchen sort of fixtures. You talked about laminated cabinets.
Right.
I'm not quite in my mind visualizing laminated cabinets. When I think of laminated, I think of Formica. But that's not what you're talking about. What are you talking about here?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really interesting because the laminated cabinets, I guess the strength of that is color. You can make those cabinets any color you want. They tend to be very minimalistic. In other words, a very low profile, a very smooth, clean edges, and they tend to have really modern kind of mechanisms in them, or that they open up from the bottom and lift up versus a traditional swing out cabinet. So they have all these interesting features, soft closed drawers and things like that you don't typically see in wood constructed cabinetry. So you really see that. Other things that we're seeing right now as well, polished floors. I mean, we had stained floors there for a while, but now we're going kind of to the next step, which is really a polished floor, which you can see that sometimes in a commercial building or maybe in a restaurant. You can do some etching with that as well if you want to. So we're seeing that kind of reappear again. And then we're getting some just really clever things that we're doing. We've got one house right now where it kind of has a circular staircase, but the rails and everything are made out of glass. I mean, so it's going to be really, really eye-popping when you walk in, something that we've never done before. Even elements like water features we're doing on the inside. They used to be really kind of exclusive to the outside. Well, we're bringing that to the inside now, and we're doing even water features on the inside. Believe it or not, we're doing a lot of modern fireplaces where they're really linear instead of what you would think of traditionally as a firebox. That fireplace may be 8 feet wide, but it's only like 2 feet tall. And so it's got this really linear, modern, sleek look to it. So those are some of the things that we're doing.
So when you talk about polished floors, are you talking about polished concrete or polished something else?
Polished concrete, believe it or not, it puts a strain on us a little bit because you have to really prep that concrete and protect it throughout the construction, because even something as simple as a nail being left on it, that rust can stain that concrete and becomes a problem during the polishing. So people think about, okay, that must be pretty easy. Well, it's a pretty simple process, yes, but there's a lot to do with that. But that's making a real comeback right now.
When you talk about indoor water features, can you describe what you're talking about? Are you talking about a fish spitting water up? I mean, what does that mean, an indoor water feature?
Well, the one that comes to mind that we're right in the middle of right now is a wall water feature. So basically it's plexiglass, and water runs down this plexiglass, and it's backlit with LED lights. So it's more of a visual thing than it is auditory. You really don't hear the water running, but it's really stunning in the background of it because it can change all colors. It's on a timer. So visually, it's really, really eye-catching.
When I think water feature, the first thing my mind goes to is the Bellagio out in Vegas. And
right.
I'm thinking that you'd have to have a really big house to do that, something like that.
That's true.
So, you also mentioned, let's see. Oh, let's see, glass stair. Let's see. I'm going to end up having to cut this part out. There was a third thing that you mentioned I wanted to ask about that I thought was interesting.
Oh, I don't know. I babbled, so I don't remember.
And oh well.
I mentioned about integrating that into some of the traditional plans, and some of the modern features into that.
So I'm gonna restart here.
Okay.
So when you talk about some of the interesting aspects of the laminated cabinets, and you mentioned the cabinets, you pull a drawer out and it comes up. Is that what you said? It sort of elevates to make it easier to get into. Or what are you describing? Where you some mechanical mechanisms in cabinets? I've seen a picture of a cabinet that I think that you did where there was like a baking mix master tool that was on an arm that would be served up so that you could work on it. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about? I mean, what are some of the interesting cabinet features that you have?
Yeah, that is some of the things that we're talking about. But then just really taking that to the nth degree. Doors, instead of traditionally, you have a cabinet door, it kind of swings open. Well, these are almost like a hatch. They swing down, okay, or they swing up. And a lot of inside the cabinets, they will roll out. There'll be shelves that roll out instead of just say they're fixed. There's a lot more options when it comes to knife drawers and it comes to pot hanging drawers and things like that. That is really kind of characteristic of laminated cabinets, because they are actually fabricated in a factory versus a custom cabinet company come out and measure and then going back to the cabinet shop and cutting the wood. These are actually made in a factory, and all those elements are integrated a lot more easily.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing some pictures of some of these things, as I know everybody else will be. Mike, thanks for taking some time today to tell us what some of the interesting design features are that you're building into homes. Folks, if you want to see more, go to MikeBlakeHomes.com and give him a call, or just browse the website and see what he's building. It's some beautiful stuff. Thanks, Mike. Talk to you again soon.
Look forward to the next time. Take care.